and welcome to Two Top Hats. I am Dylan.
And I'm Ian.
And, oh my god. Alright. We have, okay. How can I say this?
Well, I mean, everyone's talking about Captain America
Yes,
Civil War right
everyone's
now.
talking about Captain America Civil War. So, this is a very special first episode. We actually managed to watch, not Captain America Civil War,
No,
but
we're not,
the 2000...
We're not that important.
No, but we did manage to watch the 2006 smash hit Zoom, which has an impressive Rotten Tomatoes score of 3%.
That's out of 100 for you people who don't know how Rotten Tomatoes score works.
Or how percentages work.
Exactly.
And for those of you who don't know, and we're just going to kind of give you a brief overview of the movie, and then we're going to talk about why it's such a garbage fire, and you'll kind of see while we're going over it, but we're going to do a brief synopsis.
I'll do this in my greatest announcer voice possible. So Zoom is a superhero movie about the team. What the heck?
The Zenith.
Zenith team. So basically, you find out that there's this superhero team called Zenith, and it had all these stupid people on it. And then for some reason, the government thought it was a good idea to expose them to Gamma 13.
Yeah. So basically, what happens is, they're like, yeah, we need to give them more power, so let's expose them to gamma radiation. So now, you may think that this seems a lot like plagiarism. That's because it is.
Anyway, so they exposed, the two main members, who are brothers, by the way, to it. And one of them gets better powers, and the other turns evil.
Well, they both get better powers, but one of them just kind of turns evil, which of course means that he had red eyes because...
reasons.
Everyone with red eyes is evil, obviously.
So anyway, that he the brother runs really fast, and with the Speed Force, which of course isn't called that for copyright reasons, even though they don't seem to care anyway.
No, they obviously don't care.
He basically gets sent to another dimension by him running really fast at the cost of his powers. This main character that loses his powers is Zoom, by the way.
Zoom, yeah, and his brother, Concussion.
Yes.
Concussion, yeah. He's sent to the other dimension. So, yeah. Go forward. It was 30 years or something.
It was
something
years.
stupid.
Yeah.
And, we've got Zoom, who is played by Tim Allen, by the way. So this kind of gives you, alright. We kind of this movie came to our attention, and then we watched the trailer and saw that it had Tim Allen, who plays Zoom, and that just kind of explains the base of why this is a terrible, terrible movie.
So anyway, back on the synopsis, basically the government gets this team of the best kids together.
Yes, also,
apparently.
so they want to remake they want to make a... I'm sorry, my brain is on fire from watching this terrible movie.
What is that, Zenith?
Oh, Zenith, yeah. They want to make another Zenith team, so they're like, yeah, we'll just get some kids.
So they do.
No one else has powers.
And basically the whole point of the movie is they're training these kids to fight concussion.
Yeah, but so they, so how they get... So, they get a bunch of the kids and these are the best of the best, but then they have weird auditions after. So are they the best or are they not? This one girl in the auditions had blinking powers. What were they? Did she even do anything?
I don't know. I think she could just blink really... let's start from the beginning. So this movie opens with the shot of the beautiful cow helicopter.
Oh yeah, it was okay. I don't know.
Compose yourself.
I don't know if it was if it was supposed to be camouflage or something, but it's just a helicopter painted as a cow for no reason.
Yeah, and so basically you find out Concussion's coming back in 10 days. So then we get this montage of them finding these kids. Oh, and by the way, the best part is they show this montage of all the characters, right? And then, like as Dylan said, they have the auditions, but the auditions have all these kids we've never seen before. So it's obvious which ones are going to get picked because they showed us to them in the montage.
Yeah, so there's a little bit like it shows like there's one girl with telekinesis, and there's like she's in like the cafeteria line, and these cheerleaders are being bitches, and they like take her tray, and there's a giant stack of trays right in front of her, and she just throws chili in their faces, which is assault, I believe. And then there's a
kid who can make selective parts of his body
bigger.
Yeah,
and then he's varying degrees of fat throughout the movie, and it's weird because it makes no sense.
Yeah, because he wears a fat suit, and it's very obvious.
It's not even like a fat suit; it's just like they took a pillow.
But the first
put it under his shirt.
First scene he's introduced in, he's wearing swim trunks and nothing else. So the next time you see him, he's like at least 4 times fatter than when he was introduced.
So he's like, why is he wearing a fat suit? Yeah, so he's introduced because he's at the pool. He's on the diving board, and basically all of their origins are just people being assholes to them. So like he's on the diving board, and this kid in the pool is like, I bet he's gonna break that in half. And then he just jumps in the air, and his butt goes like 40 times its normal size. And then it jumps in the pool, and there's water goes everywhere. So, yeah.
We should also mention there's also Guy Who Turns Invisible.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and my personal favorite, the very stereotypical young small girl who has strong powers because it's the last thing you'd expect.
And though these seem like specific, and those are all of the kids that actually make it. So it shows all of them like doing things, and then it shows the auditions, which makes absolutely no sense because we already know who's going to be it. Otherwise, they would have shown everybody. So why didn't they just take those 4 and said these are the best of the best?
Also, so yeah, they get all these kids together, and they start training them. Oh, yes, but, they get Zoom to train the kids.
Oh my god.
Because he's part of the other team. But here's the funniest
We have
thing.
to talk about how Zoom is introduced.
Oh.
Okay. So he's like, first of all, they don't explain anything, so this is a very, very confusing part. But he's like, he just takes like a cup. He's just like in like, it was like an auto garage.
Yeah.
He puts like a banana and chocolate syrup and like milk in a cup.
And then he just vibrates his finger really quickly and sticks it in the cup.
But he lost his powers, as they say over and over.
So it's kind of confusing.
Until
okay, we'll get to that.
Well,
we gotta save that.
First, before we get into anything else, we should probably put the spoiler warning.
You don't care.
We don't
about
care.
It.
Yeah, I mean, basically things just sort of happen because movie or friendship or
a fart joke.
Yeah.
So we'll go in order here. So basically now what I thought was the dumbest part of the movie. Well, actually, there's a couple.
Yeah,
but I'll state my first one. My first major gripe with this movie and why it's so horrible. Basically, they get Zoom to train the kids, right? But for some stupid reason, they don't tell him why he's training the kids.
Yeah, and so it's like what? It starts out with like 10 days left, right? And then that's when they're like, we have to get all these kids.
So 10 days until his brother Concussion comes back from the universe.
Yes, and it's also, I don't know why they chose children, because it becomes well established that there are just kind of people with powers. But yeah, so Zoom has no idea until there's like 10 minutes or something stupid left. Or no, that was something else. But he finds out when there's like a couple hours left that it's his brother coming back.
And
So he just thinks they're training them for no reason.
so basically through the whole movie, he treats it like a joke. And I mean, that's kind of reasonable considering they don't tell him that there's anything important
Yeah.
in why they're training him.
But it's kind of it's that trope where like guy is an asshole and doesn't and somehow has to do a thing with kids, but is a dick about it. Like movies that do it well, but then usually in those kinds of movies there's like some sort of reason where they're like, oh, these kids aren't that bad, but like he looks at a thing and then he's like, oh, I like these kids or whatever. Also, there are comic books about them, and that is just really weird, like throughout the movie. But let's get back on track with the plot.
All right. So next part of the plot, we've established that he's starting to train these kids. So
Oh, and also introduced like when they kind of recruit Zoom to help is Courtney Cox, who plays Science Lady.
oh yeah, who says scientific jibber jabber because
Yes.
science?
What did she like? What were the? Oh, they said something. They were talking about concussion coming back, and they said something like, "Oh no, he's gonna come to our space-time continuum."
Yeah.
What was the? Do you know?
I don't remember the line, but it was basically they use a lot of scientific speak that if you're smarter than a fifth grader, you'll probably actually know what it is, and you'll be like, "Wait, no, that's not actually how that works."
Yeah.
But this is clearly a movie for children, which makes me sad because there were very good children's movies. But
Yeah.
I should clarify,
It's
this is a movie for what Hollywood thinks children want.
It's basically one of those movies where you say that it's terrible, and they're like, "Well, it's for kids." And it's like, well, there are good movies for kids, right? It kind of plays like a direct-to-TV movie that was then adapted into a show. You know that bullshit?
Except it was from theaters.
Oh my god,
But
I didn't even know that.
at least I think it was.
Yeah,
I mean, in my mind, I hope it isn't, but I have a feeling it was.
I do too, actually. Yeah. Oh my god.
But so science chick,
Yeah.
of course, hooks up with Zoom at some point because
Because
you gotta get that relationship.
And I mean, okay, it's bad enough when a movie tries to force one relationship, but this movie does two. And I called it. Remember, I called it from a mile away.
Yeah,
because
he called it
girl
away.
who is telekinetic and guy who's invisible
Around
are
the same age.
yeah, they're basically the same age. So I said, oh, they're totally gonna bang.
And yeah, they're totally shipped together. It's ridiculous.
So this movie does a thing that's bad enough once, and it does it twice.
Yeah. What do we talk about now? There's the whole training montage.
Oh god.
Basically, it one of the biggest flaws with this movie, as well as what I've stated already, is that it's made very clear that Zoom hates these kids.
Yeah.
Very clear.
And they establish it so much, and then he just turns. It's like a minute-long sequence where he just changes his mind.
He doesn't.
He
doesn't just start liking the kids.
And, yeah.
It's just kind of like, oh no, it's fine. Yeah, these kids are fine.
And another note, as we're getting into it, is that this movie also includes Chevy Chase as Science Man, and there's asshole general guy. So we know what his deal is, and so we're gonna get a little more general with the plot, and then in a minute we're going to go into some of the more just whatever. And so basically the idea is they know that concussion is coming back, but
they don't tell anyone.
No, they don't tell anyone, but they're training these kids, but then they're going to expose them to the radiation. And we talked about this when we were watching it, but that is a 50% success rate.
Yeah, well, that's from what we know. That's a 50% success rate because you're basically getting kids to fight the thing that you screwed up with, and then you're exposing them to the very thing that created that thing that you screwed up with. It's stupid.
Yeah, and there's more children. I'm gonna try to my best to explain their other part of their plan. You may have to chime in because it makes no sense.
Yeah.
They're going to shoot a net or some whatever bullshit at Concussion.
And it'll like take them back to the weird universe.
Is that what it was?
I think so.
Also, it turns out he didn't age. I don't know what the hell this movie.
Basically, they didn't want to get another actor.
Yeah,
that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, they got another actor for young Tim Allen, but they didn't want to get another one.
He didn't actually act in the movie, though. It was just pictures. For all we know, they could have just done a really good job photoshopping someone's face on.
Yeah, it's not like even mediocre movies do that, like Tron Legacy.
But, anyway, the only thing you need to know before we really go into specifics is they all train, they all get together.
Yeah. And then, like, okay.
Zoom gets his powers through some bullcrap friendship abilities.
Yeah, so basically what happens is there's the little girl. Oh, and okay.
We'll get to specifics.
Yeah,
in a sec.
so he gets it like there's the little girl and so they shoot the net at Concussion, and his power is like he shoots like air bubbles or something, and he shoots one and he just knocks it immediately out of the way, like it was not going to work at all, and then it starts shooting towards little girl person, and then Zoom is like he just starts vibrating and he's like friendship, and then he just runs over and gets her, and then he puts her down and she's just unconscious for no reason.
Yeah, so apparently he got his powers back because of the children.
Because love.
Anyway, and then the most stupid thing that happens in the movie is him running around Concussion, even though, I might add, the first time that this happens,
he lost his powers.
And then he sent Concussion to the other dimension. For some reason, this time that he did it, it freed the radiation from Concussion. It took his evilness out.
Wait, because so when he was running around, Concussion was shooting at him. Maybe like the shooting at him did the thing and like.
No, stop! You're stupid.
I'd like to add, as long as we're kind of close to that point, is that this movie's bad enough without having the typical love is the power thing, but of course it does that. So now we're gonna go, and then it shows like some conclusion-y stuff, and we're gonna get into that in a minute. But then we're gonna talk
about specifics. So I think the first best place to start is the flying saucer.
Oh yeah, okay. And this actually also tackles another point that I wanted to address, and I think you know what that is.
Is it Wendy's?
It is Wendy's.
So that's what I was hoping we were going to lead into.
Absolutely. So they. Okay, so these. I think this is right after Tim Allen stops being a total asshole to the kids, or maybe before. But so they have a flying saucer, because science facility.
It's like,
and
facility.
Of course, it's implied that it is the flying saucer from Roswell, because no other alien thing could ever happen. And then, so they take it, and they just joyride around, and then they go to Wendy's.
And I mean, it's not even like, just like a restaurant, it's clearly Wendy's.
Yes, and it's not like they're just there, and then they also do other stuff. Wendy's gets like a shocking amount of screen time. It gets a good 3 or 4 minutes of screen time.
There was an entire section of this movie devoted to the whole Wendy's thing and them ordering.
Yeah,
and then it continues for an unnaturally long amount of time.
Then there's a news story, and it says extraterrestrials want extra fries, and we talked about this.
We talked about how
that's not the story.
That's not the story.
So that's like, so I said that's kind of like if Donald Trump was exposed to Gamma 13, may as well stick to the lore of the movie, and turned into the Hulk, and then destroyed a Burger King, and the news was like, Donald Trump hates Burger King. Like that's not what you want to report on.
Let's be honest. The headline wouldn't be extraterrestrials want extra fries. It would be, okay, aliens are real and they're here. Hide your children, hide your wife.
Yeah, so, and that is pretty much the only product placement in the entire movie, and it is weird, like just how long it is, and it's like just I would like to see how much money Wendy's just threw at that movie.
Yeah, let's see, 2006 was probably a rough year for Wendy's. They probably weren't doing too well. They had to look for any revenue they could. And then these shady, slimy people came up to them like, "Hey, we're making a movie called Zoom. We want you to advertise for it."
Let's just kind of go with the fact that no one was doing well in 2006. I mean, Courtney Cox has been in a lot of big stuff, and she was like just off of Friends when this was going on. So that was a dump. But what else? Oh, so the whole movie, the little girl with the strength, she keeps complaining about getting a name for and then they go into this secret place that wasn't. Oh, okay. I just realized. So they go into the secret place. I just realized that he know how to go there because he'd been there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Duh.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. But so he and then they're like, "Are you gonna have my name?" And then he gives them a bunch of really awful names. Like he gives the balloon guy, he calls him the Incredible Bulk, which is a whole other problem.
Yeah, for anyone who's seen the I Hate Everything, you've heard of the Incredible Bulk.
Yes. That's a whole other movie. Maybe we'll do that in the future. I don't know.
No, we won't.
No, we won't. Okay.
That's not gonna happen.
We will not do that in the future, so please don't tell us to. Okay, but so then he calls the girl who's telekinetic. What does he call her? Brain Girl? It's something stupid like Brain Girl. Then the guy who turns invisible, he calls him Invisitine.
And then they no.
And then what does he call the little girl? What does he call the little girl?
Oh, strong girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's stupid. And then they just give themselves names. They just give names to themselves right after that.
And the names that they give themselves are probably equally as dumb as the names that he pretendedly gave them.
The invisible guy is Houdini, which is actually kind of clever, I guess. That's probably the best one. And then the inflation guy is Mega Kid
or something.
Yeah, the telekinesis girl is Wonder, and then the little girl is Princess.
They're stupid.
Again, for no reason.
They're all just stupid.
Yeah, and do you have anything to add?
Other than that they're completely stupid?
Yeah, do you have another thing you'd like to go over?
Oh yes, I would in fact like to go over something else near the end. As we previously brought up, there's this thing with bad movies that tends to happen where the farther along they get, the more they kind of just turn into a complete and utter train wreck. And this is very clear in this movie, as I stated with the whole friendship subplot. So, another thing that really bothered me about this movie are the costumes.
Oh. Okay. Do you mean Zoom's costume?
I mean all of the costumes.
Okay. Zoom his costume makes him look like a freaking speed skater.
Okay, you
it's like okay. Well. So when you mean the CGI thing?
Yes,
okay.
Please tell the audience this.
If you're unaware, in movies, so basically Iron Man's a good example. They don't have Robert Downey Jr. typically. They don't have him wear the full armor. If he's going to be doing action scenes,
he wears this black suit.
He wears it's red, I believe, and it has some points on it for the animators. They're like freaking pajamas, basically. It's like they were going to go somewhere like that.
Except they just didn't.
Yeah, by giving him a CG costume, but they forgot to.
It's like they forgot to do CGI, so it just looks like he's wearing the pajamas.
Yeah, it's like they were, and then the rest of the kids.
They look like they're just white jumpsuits with stupid helmets. That's it.
And all right, I think I have one more point.
All right,
good.
Please.
Okay. This is a good way to end. So with this movie, yes, there's a lot of garbage in the plot, in the acting, in just
Everything.
General movie making.
The jokes are horrible, by the way. They're all stereotypical, stupid
and
jokes.
Every single time anything in the plot happens, you either see it from a mile away, or you just don't care.
Oh,
like it turns like so. The kids are all rounded up to go.
You're gonna talk about what I think you're gonna talk about.
I think so. So the kids are all rounded up to go get their dose of the radiation because we've already gone over that. And you know what I'm talking about.
I know. Let me try.
So they go, and Courtney Cox, science lady, is like, "Here we go," and there are guards and stuff, and then she just blows rainbows.
Yeah,
that's her, and it turns out that's her power.
It turns out she has powers, and her power is like blowing rainbows. I'm not.
Yeah,
it sounds like I'm making this up. I swear to you, she's legitimately blows rainbows.
That is her power, and it's not even consistent. Like, so she blows a guard like across the hall, but then so Tim Allen, they put him in a jail because he figured out what they were doing and he wanted to stop them, so he put him in a stupid prison.
Oh, prison's also dumb because it's supposed to keep out superpowered
Yeah,
people,
and then
Princess just like punches it, not even that hard, and it just shatters.
Yeah, and then she's like, they're like, yeah, she has powers. Science lady has powers, and he's like, what? And then she just blows in his face, and it's like a light breeze. So what? And it was like the same amount of rainbow as earlier. So which is it, movie? So, and that's just a good example. Like, nothing is consistent. Even friggin' Fat Boy's weight.
Yeah.
Like, his size just changes for no... It's like they had a pillow and they put it in a shirt. That is legitimately what it looks like, but they use different sized pillows.
I'll give this movie one thing, though, that it did right. It understood it was going to get no sequels. It didn't sequel bait.
Yeah, we watched past the credits because I thought that there would be an end credit scene. And yeah, I will give it that it wasn't, and that's pretty big of a movie of that caliber, and just how terrible it is to admit that you're not going to do any sequels, to admit that you told a pretty final story. So, I mean, a terrible one, but a final one. So, I think we've been going long enough.
I will say one more thing, though. There are scenes in this movie that go on for several minutes that are clearly meant to be very, very funny. They're, like, supposed to be the funniest parts of the movie. Between Dylan and I, if we weren't cracking jokes between ourselves, it would have been dead silence. There wasn't a single joke in this movie that we had. There might have been like one joke that was actually kind of funny.
Yeah, so would you agree with a 3% rating?
I wouldn't give it that low.
That low?
Because for me, a movie that low, it's like fundamentally broken to the point of not being watched.
Yeah, and I mean, while it used, movie maker transitions and the plot was total garbage. It wasn't. I would agree with you that it shouldn't be that low.
A movie that is that low is fundamentally broken on every level.
Like
this movie was a sore disappointment. Didn't make us laugh and was horrible in budget.
Yeah.
So as a result of that, I'd probably give it about a
10%.
I don't know what you.
I would also give it a 10%.
All right, folks out there.
All right.
If you're interested in seeing Zoom, You heard it here first. We're giving it a solid 10%. That is
10 out of 100. 1 out of 10.
yep. Those are
One
all
half of a star.
those are all equal to those amounts.
Yes. All right. We've been on for long enough. If you have any suggestions for movies, people being stupid, anything dumb that we can take a look at and make a video about, please let us know.
Well, we will look at it and probably not listen to it, but there's a chance that we will.
Yes.
So you might as well try.
And yes, so send us your morons, and we'll see. We'll see if we can make a video out of it. Please, if you enjoyed this video, like it, or if you want it in your liked videos, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more of this content.
And if you don't want to, or you hate that people say stuff like that, just leave.
And yeah, cuddle up with your Zoom DVD on Blu-ray, and don't watch our videos.
So I've been Ian.
And I have been Dylan, and we